Let's talk about some objections. Throw. All right. I only need one from each. Okay. I need one from each. Here's the disclaimer. You have to have actually heard it. Okay. I'm saying, but what if they say this? What if they say, but what if they say that? I don't want any hypothetical objections. I want the ones that you've actually gotten. I want the one that you love to hear and the one that you hear it and you're like, oh God, I lost it. I don't know how to overcome that one. Throw those in the chat. And if you don't have an objection that you like to hear, you can just put a dash. Okay? You can just put a dash. Because you don't understand yet, obviously, which is understandable. You ain't been here long. That 99% of my book of business gave me an objection at one point or another. You know? Sometimes it was just a question, right? Tori, sometimes it was just a question. Oh, just give me a quote. Oh man, that was a fun one to overcome. We're gonna do some we're gonna do some of those some role plays today where it's like I'm gonna kind of I'm gonna call on a couple people to see how they would overcome it, and then I'll tell you how I would overcome it, and then you can just decide which one you want to do. Okay? Because at the end of the day, there is, see, I don't know if PETA's in this. There's a million different ways to skin a cat. Okay? There's so many different ways to overcome stuff. You could say something as simple as no. It's crazy. Could you just mail me something? No. You guys ever done that? You guys ever tried that? Just a one word answer? It's like, could you just give me the quote? Which one? Yeah, I just wanted to shop this. I guess how do you mean? Right? Let's get into some stuff here. Let me read this chat. Let me read this chat. This is gonna be fun. Okay, I got to get my mind thinking a little bit. Thinking a little bit. Let me see here. Okay. All right. All right. I have insurance with my job. All right. Somebody unmute. Now, Al, I want to clarify. Al, is that in the appointment or is that on the phone booking the appointment?
Booking the appointment.
Oh, even better. All right. Well, shit. Let's go to Devin Hakola. Devin Hakola, how would you overcome that?
Yeah, so it sounds like you're like most of the clients who I help who have coverage through work. And I don't know if you are aware, but that insurance tends to stay with work, kind of like the company car. Or if you end up leaving, that it would cost abnormally expensive to keep it there. And then just keep moving forward, basically.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Um, let's see, who else would I want to call? Tyler, how would you overcome that?
Yeah, pretty much very similar. I always use the company car. I forgot who it was that taught that, but that's freaking works every time. Just kind of getting them, just getting them to understand like, hey, that coverage is. I usually tell a story because I had a guy that I sat with last November. He had started working with the state here in North Carolina. Pretty much started working there from the time he had got out of high school. Worked there his whole career. At age 49, he was diagnosed with congestive heart failure, had a massive work insurance policy. Once he was diagnosed with congestive heart failure, the state gave him 6 months of essentially paid leave. And once those 6 months ran up, he then had to apply for disability, lost all of his benefits, and was put on a heart transplant list, was left with absolutely no coverage. So I always give that story, just because it was, something that really hit home with me. A really awesome guy. We talk literally once a month, and people just don't understand that. Like work coverage only works if you're working. Um, I always give that story. I use the exact same reference to the company car, and then I go into that story there.
Yeah, yeah. And you also have to feel it. Like this is one of those things where you have to anticipate it, but you kind of learn how to feel it to where you don't want to answer more than needed, if that makes sense. In the beginning, you're just gonna be like, oh yeah, that's why I'm calling, because that's what SFG tells you to say. And then you kind of, I guess, get a sense of, is this a smoke screen or is this an actual objection? You know, like, do they even know what they're saying right now? Half the time that they don't. If I was looking at I have insurance with my job. Oh yeah, I was giving you a call back here. It was about the damn, I don't know if you remember this or not, about the the mortgage protection coverage. You remember that? Oh yeah. I have insurance with my job. Well, Jesus, I would hope so. You're working what, 40 hours a week? Well, yeah, I'm working 40 hours a week. I got you. They don't give you time with their job, but they or let me ask you this. How long have you been with that job? It's a weird question that they're not expecting. How long you been working? Did you start last week or you been there like years and years and years? Oh, buddy, I've been there 20 years. I got you. How long you been in this house? 5 years. Oh, okay. You're probably like most of my family. So you knew you had the life insurance benefit with your job when you filled the form out, right? What most people do is they're kind of looking to keep that as, I guess, the like income replacement, right? Is that why you have that with your job, income replacement? Because you didn't even have the house when you signed up for the policy, right? Yeah. So when you filled the form out, were you just looking to just make sure the house was paid off? Is that right? Okay. Yeah, that's why I was calling. I'm just a caseworker assigned to you, XYZ. Or if they say, yeah, I just started last Tuesday and I finally got a job, I got this job, they got great benefits. I got you. Where'd you work at before? Oh, I worked at CBS News. That's sorry. But I worked, yeah, here. Gotcha. They had life insurance there too with you, correct? Like, yeah, it's like, did you get to take it to your new job? No? Okay. Probably going to happen the same way with this one if you were to get sick, huh? Yeah, that's why I was calling. I'm just a caseworker getting you something that you own that nobody can ever take from you. I don't need you for long today, and then we book it, right? You see how there's like 75 different ways to overcome these? All right, let's go. Let's keep going here. This is recorded. I wouldn't try to take a whole lot of notes. You have to go back and listen to it. All right, I'll send you the link. I can't afford it. Tori, how'd you overcome it yesterday?
So it had been a couple days of back and forth with this guy, and he finally got back on the phone with me. We were able to sit down, and he started off the conversation saying, "I still don't think I can afford this." And I asked him, "Why do you think that?" And he said, "Well, because the last person quoted me $600 a month." I was like, "Okay." So we ended up going through the FIF and everything. I told him, I went, "Look, there's three different ways that we do this. It sounds like you were quoted one of the first two ways. There's a third option. Here's what it is." I went over equity protection with him, 125 bucks a month, and he's got 12 months of coverage on his girl. He was amazed that there was an option less than that.
Hmm. Was that what kind of lead was that?
CIA.
Yeah, savage. Good for you, Tori. Good for you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I can't afford it. How would I overcome that? Tyler, how do you overcome it? I'm just giving you guys different ways. You can pick and choose what you want to use.
Yeah, very, very curious. Just trying to figure out what makes them think they can't afford it, right? Oh, okay, yeah, totally understand. Can't afford it. Now, when you say can't afford it, did somebody show you something that was like super expensive? Are we talking about like 600-700 bucks, or kind of like most families like was the favorite option that most families pick? It's usually around like 80 to 100. Usually budgets never issue when it comes to coverage. Was it something super expensive, or was like 80 bucks just too much for you?
Yeah. And then you can throw them the Devin Johnson special, right? Oh, Devin, I can't afford this. I can't afford this. And then, Devin's like, yeah, I know. That's why I was calling. I'm the regional manager here, and they had me, your file was flagged that you had told, I guess the last guy or something. I don't know what happened. It was probably one of my guys that had called you. What happened? How much did they quote you? It was 375 a month. That pisses me off. Are you freaking kidding me? 375? Who the hell can afford that? Right? And then we make the other guy the bad guy. You guys follow me on that? I was watching this video the other day of this of this guy that sells he sells roofs, right? Roofs. I don't know how do you say it, but he sells he's like a door-to-door roofing salesman or whatever, and he's like a manager over a big team. And this lady that he had helped or had sold, I guess, it's so funny. He's out on a boat, right? You guys probably know who I'm talking about. If not, you don't talk enough about sales around the house or listen to training. But it's got to get in your feed the algorithm. But he was talking to her. He's like, "Hey, Betty," and he already knew she was pissed. She's like, damn it, Bobby, this is some BS. They effed up my roof. It's like, are you freaking kidding me? They jacked it up. Send me a picture of it right now. I'm about to get after their ass, right? He gets on their side of the table. You guys following me? So instead of them being mad at you, now all of a sudden we're mad at somebody else together. It's an art and it's fun. When you can master that one, that one's the most fun to overcome objections with. I'm not gonna lie. Like it is so much fun. Um, because it just redirects their anger and then you act mad too. Like we're paid actors, if you guys didn't know. Okay. Whenever you read Frank Betcher's How I Raised Myself from Failure to Success in Selling, that's what he meant with enthusiasm. Like, hey, this is Jimmy. I'm about to sell you something. That's not what we're talking about. But you got to be able to get emotionally engaged real quick. All right. All right. We discussed this and we don't need it. Dev, where is that in the process that you're hearing that?
Oh, that was mostly kind of just from like people who friggin' didn't show up to appointment. That was like a no-show objection, basically.
Okay. Gotcha. We discussed and we don't need it. Tyler, what would you do there? That one's a tough one. That one's a tough one.
Yeah, because I got that last week in a text. A couple different ways. They discussed it and they don't need it. I usually get right straight to the point there, especially if because like when I get that, it's in a text message because I'll send a confirmation text message out, and that's usually where I see it. They come back and like, hey, we don't want to meet. And I'm like, okay, no worries. Just to verify here. So God forbid if whoever the husband or wife, whatever it is, I just straight up like if they die, you know, are you have no issues with taking care of this mortgage on your own? I just get very straight to the point. I've had a couple people, kind of come back, but yeah, I'm straight to the point there. Like, hey, if he dies, can you stay in this home? That's what because most of the time, yeah, like I said, the only time I feel like I get that is when it's through a text message.
Yeah, you could. It's just as easily if they're working. It depends on if they're working age or older. Like if they're retired, then you handle it a little bit different. And there's a million different ways to do it. Most of the time, that's probably some type of price objection. Not 99% of the objections we get are price objections. We just have to assume people actually love their families because most of them do. Um, we discussed and we don't need this. If I'm on the phone and I hear that, I'm like, oh, thank God. Right? Pattern interrupt. Oh, thank God. You're making my life easy. Levi, let me update this so nobody else burns your phone down, trying to sell you something. Let me update this real quick. I'm the regional manager here. Now, when you say don't need this, I just want to verify you do know what this is, right? And they're like, oh yeah, this is for the roof. They say something dumb half the time, or they know exactly what it is. Yeah, this is to take care of the house. Like if we were to die, it would pay the mortgage off. It's like, hey, you nailed it. So you're telling me that if heaven forbid you did die yesterday, one of y'all's income is gone, mortgage ain't a problem, and you'll have enough to live off of too with the life insurance that you have outside of your job. Oh, well, I'm not saying that. Huh. Gotcha. Was it that you felt like you didn't need it or that you were worried that you couldn't afford it because maybe you sat with a bad apple back in the day? Yeah, we just don't know if we can afford it. Oh, that's why I'm calling. Yeah, there's some bad apples. They go around. I talk smack about other agents all the time. There's this guy goes around, tries to sell people three, four, $500 a month. I don't know why he does it. I'm trying to get him, investigated, but what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Anyway, I call you at 3 or 5. If I get on the appointment and they say that, then I just burn them down just like Tyler just did. You know, I just don't know if we could afford this. I guess walk me through when you say not afford, how do you mean? Now, what am I really asking there? Nothing. I'm just trying to get them to think. So yeah, I just don't know if we could come up with the premiums each month because bills are tight. Following. Okay, that's common. Um, I guess help me understand here. Because I've heard that before, Jasmine, but most of the time, I guess what do you feel like would be harder? Coming up with, $50 to $100 a month now together with two incomes coming in, or, you know, like the bills don't get chopped in half if one of you dies, do they? Okay, then having the same bills that we can't afford now with just one income, what do you feel like would be, I guess, more difficult? Would you say anything worth having is worth sacrificing for? Hey, listen, if you don't want it, if if this ain't a concern and you're just hoping and praying, I can't help you with that. You know, I can help you pray for wisdom, but okay, I probably wouldn't say that, but you guys follow me on that. Okay, pretty simple stuff. We need to talk about it before we make a decision. I can tell you what Devin Johnson would say. Yeah, go ahead. No worries. That I always allocate at least 5-10 minutes at the end of going over reviewing options, to for you guys to, have that conversation. I'm gonna mute out. I gotta go get a bottle of water anyway. I'll be back in what, 3-4 minutes. If you don't hear from me and you call on me, it's probably because I'm like changing a diaper or something because I got a newborn in the house. Just I'm still on the phone if it's there. And then I just go, right? Or we need to talk about it before we make a decision. Well, I mean, shit, like, where do you hear that, Gil? At the end of the appointment?
Yeah, you show options. I had it 2 nights ago on an application that was $351 a month. We had them approved. Then I got that we were going to talk about it.
How many months of mortgage payments was that?
12 months.
Okay. What option was that? Option 3?
That was option 2.
Okay, so they chose the middle one. Okay. Yeah, that one's a fun one there. Sometimes this works, sometimes it doesn't. We need to talk about this before we make a decision. I guess when you say, did you tell them they were approved?
Yeah, I said, look, we're approved. If you guys want to think about it, you get a 2-week free look period, and we can put your payment date, a couple days in the future so that you can talk about it. And if you do change your mind, no money out of your pocket.
Yeah, I'd be careful with that one unless you need a loan. Because I dealt with a lot of debt year one because of, if you let me in your house, you were buying. You know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't matter what you tell me. Like, I'm walking out with an application and a check, and I used a trial close like that very, very often. Now you can use the trial close to get it and then solidify the hell out of it after, but that's high skill. I don't even know if I know how to do that. We need to talk about it before we make a decision. Hey, no worries at all, Gil, I guess for sure. I do want to ask you this, okay? And yeah, could you pull up your calendar real fast? I'm gonna try to take some pressure off first. I'm Everybody likes to take care of this stuff before, I've had more appointments this week than I had last month combined. Like I'm telling you, families are just trying to take care of this before, Christmas and the New Year, because obviously we know that with inflation, and you would think that these insurance companies were having like Christmas parties right now. They ain't. They're having board meetings like, how can we charge more? How can we charge more? They're having meetings with the Department of Insurance. Like they're trying to get rates a little bit higher. You guys follow me on that? So all of the families know that obviously, and they're thinking, because it's the same in every other industry, and they're trying to make sure that they lock in their rate now so they don't have to worry about increasing rates later when they don't have it. So let me do this. Most families want to talk about it I mean, most people can come up with a decision in an hour, but much less 24. I've got like 2 spots open tomorrow. I could squeeze you guys in because I'm not going to need you for long. You guys want before or after 5 tomorrow? Takes the pressure off, right? I book an appointment. I'm never going to go to that appointment. I want to be clear. We're about to close this deal right now, but they don't know that. Okay. We booked that appointment. It takes the pressure off. Gotcha. Now, just so I'm more prepared for y'all's questions tomorrow, Gil, I guess, which aspect of the program do you feel like you were going to kind of roll over in your mind between the two of y'all this evening? I don't want to say which parts of it are y'all going to think about. I want to say roll over in your mind, because if I say think about it, it's more aggressive. Like, what did you guys want to think about? That you see how that kind of sounds aggressive? I guess what parts of just so I've got a better understanding so I could, possibly help you, Simeon. What was it that y'all were wanting to, I guess, roll over in your mind just so that y'all did have better clarity about how you'd like to go about protecting the family? right? And they're gonna say they may say something, they may not. You may get the real objection there. Okay. Most of the time, Gil, when families, are like, would you guys say that you're kind of stuck between the two options? A lot of folks tell me that. They're like, "Hey, Luke, I want to think about this with the wife here. I want to talk this over." And most of the time, it's as simple as like they're just trying to decide between 6 months or 12 months. Is that where you guys are, or are you trying to see if, like, in your mind, if this program is even beneficial? Because if this program ain't beneficial to you, then, you know, we're gonna have to go back to the drawing board here. And they're gonna say, no, 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 we love what it does. We just don't know how much time. Gotcha. Could I recommend what all the other families do? What 99% of other families do? If if 12 months would really help, would you rather her have 6 months of time, or I guess no months of time? Because right now we got no months of time. Like you guys told me earlier. Yeah, I think you said Levi should be up the creek without a paddle, is what you said. Okay. Um, why don't we do this? And then I'm going to guide them. Why don't we just back this back down a little bit? Let's start with the 6 or 9 month option. Okay. Much more affordable. You probably won't even notice it coming out of your freaking checking account every month. All right. And then what we can do is you guys call me back in 6 months, a year, whatever, and you want to increase this? Sure, we can, but I think we can both agree. Actually, no, I'd probably end it there. I wouldn't oversell, right? Say, does that sound fair? You wouldn't be opposed to that, would you? No, I wouldn't be opposed to that. Gotcha. I'm about to send you over a text message right now. You guys follow me? So I'm just selling down to try to keep it on the books. That's most of the time what I'm going to do in that situation. Sometimes people will say something along the lines, and we're almost done here. We can do some more objections tomorrow if you'd like. But sometimes they'll say something, Gil, where, and this is a hard one to overcome. And if I were to put my dashes in there, this is the one that pisses me off the most. And it's called stupidity, you know? But it's like, I just don't I just don't want to do anything right now. I think we can figure something out outside of this. Okay. All right. I don't like what it does. Gotcha. Okay. I guess if the Titanic was sinking, Gil, and y'all were up there and all the lifeboats were full of women and children, would you want Miss Lucille to have like one of those little those life preserver floaties, like the little lifesaver floaties, you know what I'm talking about? Would you like her to have one of those, or would you rather her just kind of tread water until safety came? Hope that she can swim long enough. Because we're going to be in the water either way. Is that fair? Right? We can't get the whole shebang. The lifeboats, they're full. There ain't a damn thing you can do to do that. Ain't going to happen. But what are the other options? Like, if you think logically about it, what are we waiting for? Think about it. I'm saying this to y'all, not to them. But what are we truly what are we truly thinking about? What are we hoping for? The lottery? Oh, I'm gonna take care of this in about 10 years. What do you feel like would be different in 10 years? Just the cost of it? Are you planning to get a raise on your Social Security? Or go back to work so that it's more affordable? Like, ain't shit gonna change ever. And we've got to find a way, like, that's what they need to come to the conclusion of where it's their idea. So if you find out how to nuance that, good luck. But not everybody's a buyer either. Okay. Amy, that's called a lie. I submitted this by mistake. That's a lie. Okay. That's, I love a FEX lead that comes through, Facebook lead that comes through and like, oh, I didn't mean to fill that out. I'm like, you didn't mean to do the 8-digit verification code to talk to me? It's okay if you didn't, like, or did you think this was going to be some long, hard process where you were going to get sold something that you didn't need and couldn't afford? Because if that's what you were looking for, that ain't me. I'm not going to do that. My mom would kick my ass if I did that. I say stuff like that. Okay. I want to wait a while. Yeah, I kind of went over that one, Michelle. That's just that's just dumb. Already have coverage. We can go over that one tomorrow, Jaylene. That's a whole different topic. I'm not sure what my kids would do with the house. Okay, as of right now, how long do you think they would want to pay this mortgage payment? Okay, they've got their lives too, right? Okay. Do you remember being 29 with two kids? Were you guys saving $2,000 a month then, or okay? So like if you called them, this is my favorite one. Then we're gonna go. Okay, this is my favorite one to overcome. I love it when I'm sitting with a single parent that's like in their 60s. Okay. And I already know, you guys know at the end of the appointment with one 65, 70-year-old, they're gonna say, I want to talk to my daughter. I want to talk to my kids. You already know they're gonna say it, right? Y'all do know that. Okay, you ain't sat with enough families. You know they're gonna say it. So why don't you just overcome it first? You know they're gonna say it. How would you overcome it first? Somebody tell me. Somebody tell me real quick, and we're gonna get out of here. Promise you. I think this is helping people though. Not everybody at once.
Are you like most of my fathers, where you're just looking to kind of relieve some of the financial pressure for your child? Something
Hmm.
like that.
That's fair. Yeah, I like that look. Who else got something?
This is from Busick the other day. So are you just kind of like wanting to take care of, because obviously when you pass away, your kids are going to have to, sell the home, go through your things. Did you have a parent that passed away where you had to kind of go through that with them? Okay, yeah. So are you just like, trying to take care of that for your kids? Okay, great. That's what this does.
Same, yeah, same exact thing. But think we're about to show them numbers. Like we're all the way at the end. Okay, you've already booked the appointment. You've sat with them. You've gone through, and maybe they say there ain't a snowball chance in hell they could do it, or maybe they say I think they'd be fine. I prefer if they tell me they think they'd be fine. Like I almost prefer to hear that. Okay, what would you guys say after that? Since there's new people up here, Gil, it's about to blow their mind.
You think they'd be fine? What makes you say that?
See, Levi, like that's what I used to do. That's what I used to do, is I used to combat it, right? I used to combat it. Doesn't work. It will sometimes. But if I'm looking at how do I raise it, how do I go from 50% raise to 75, right? This is how you would do that.
Do
You know,
you think they'd be fine? Do you think they'd be fine because you're leaving them enough, or do you think they'd be fine because they make enough and they have enough to cover that?
yeah, yeah. So by this point in the conversation, because it is a conversation. This ain't no presentation, it's a conversation. The presenting phase lasts for long enough for me to explain their situation back to them from based off the answers that they gave them, but that's a different conversation. But I want to edify, edify, edify. Okay. Especially like I'm telling y'all, you give me a 67-year-old, okay, with a 150, $250,000 mortgage, it's getting closed. That's like my honey hole. I'm telling you, it's getting closed and it's going to be 900 APV, or it's going to be between 900 and 1400 APV every time. All right. And they're going to say, yeah, I mean, I think they could probably come up with a mortgage payment. Yeah. I'm sure that I'm hell, Janice, I'm sure they could, you know. What do they do? What do they do for work? Oh, she's a accountant and her husband's a lawyer. Oh my gosh, girl, you raised her good, didn't you? I'm edifying. You raised her good. She said, "Well, I tried. I gave it all I had." Listen, you should really give yourself some like I'm not saying we should be prideful or nothing, but I think you did a good job. They got jobs like that. They're out there hustling and bustling. They got their own family. They're handling their bills. They ain't calling you every month for help. Help. Like you got it going on, you know? Uh I'm curious. Would you say you and your daughter are pretty tight? Yeah, we definitely are. Now, that's how me and my mom are as well. Yeah, me, my mom, my dad, like we're like a unit. And for us, I'm yeah, pretty good at what I do. I like to think, I like to think I'm somewhat successful. I'd like to put myself in the category as your daughter. I'd like to, hell, I don't know. But I tell you this, I call my parents for advice all the time. I do. I'm like, hey, JJ's, my son, we got a newborn, hey, he's got this thing on his finger, he's got these white splotches on the top of his mouth, like he's got this, he's got that, like what is that? Because they've experienced it. They've already experienced, and you guys kind of feel like I'm in this with moment with her, painting a picture. They've already experienced it, so I'm just going to go to somebody that's more experienced, you know? And a lot of the times, shit, I couldn't even imagine what life would be like if they weren't here to answer some of those questions. You know, never even, hell, I can't, it's hard for me to even go there in my mind, Miss, Miss, Miss Keys, you know? And I'll tell you this, pretty John Brown rare, my mom ever called me for advice. Pretty rare, pretty rare. And it's not because she thinks she knows everything or she's just, the freaking brainiac. It's just because she's experienced a lot more life than I have, and I think with experience, not necessarily age, but with experience comes wisdom. Would you disagree? No, no, you're right. You're right. You're right. You know, and I tell you this as well. For you, you probably do already know that your family could. I mean, that if they really needed to by themselves, they could figure this out, right? Yeah, but you knew that before you sat down with me. So is it that you felt like they really needed this or they were going to lose everything, or is this just something you wanted to do for them because you already know how that day is going to be and you want the last thing on their mind to be something about money where they got to come up with it on their own? Is that where you were? It's exactly where I was. Okay, gotcha. Because I'll tell you this, if my mom called me right now, if my mom called me right now, Miss Sharon, and said, "Hey, I'm sitting down with this insurance agent and he's we're talking about some mortgage protection to where whenever I die the house is going to be paid for a certain period of months. um I'm thinking about going with the 12-month option. What do you think I should do? What do you think you would need? Oh, I tell you right now, I'd be like, get off the phone with that guy. Get off the phone right now. I don't need that. Honey, mama, you've done enough. I'll be fine. I will be fine. I will be fine. I will be fine. Is that how your daughter's going to react to? Yeah. You ever heard that expression, mama knows best? I know my mama, she's just gonna go ahead and do it because she already knows she knows more about me than I do. Are you guys following me what I'm doing on this? Like I'm walking her through what's about to happen to her. So whenever you call your daughter and tell her that you got, 6, 9, 12 months, like if that were to happen, you think she's gonna say something pretty similar? Yeah. And what are you gonna say back to her? If she tells you not to do it, what are you gonna do? Because you already know she's gonna tell you not to do it, but yet you're still talking to me. What are you gonna do? Does she know best or you know best? Will I say that? I don't know. But that's where I'm going with it. Okay. I over explained the hell out of that so that y'all would kind of get into my thought process there of how I wanted her to feel and think. But I am telling you, I've never had somebody after I went through that said anything other than, let me do the 9 months. She wanted the 12, and I talked her back down to the 9 or the 6. Right. Hey, now if you talk to your daughter and she says, hey, I'm gonna need more time than that, we're in a bind, that. But most kids that are successful, kind of like myself, we got a little bit of pride when it comes to mama and daddy asking if they can help us. That answer is always no. What do you want for Christmas? Nothing. I don't want anything. Take care of yourself, mama. We're good. You guys follow me on that? Simple stuff. Simple stuff. Simple stuff. And I learned that one day when I sat with a guy and I just got curious. Well, actually, it was back when I had my office and a guy, he was like, yeah, he likes the one that's $127 a month, but he wants to talk to his son. I was like, all right, well, what's he want to talk to his son about? He's like, I don't know. I was like, he said, will you talk to him? I was like, sure, whatever. He's brand new. I think it was his first appointment. I said, hey, Mr. Richard, I'm XYZ. Yeah, I'm just manager here. I just wanted to just clarify. Where are we at? He's like, yeah, I just want to run this by my son. Gotcha. What do you think he's gonna say? Probably gonna say you don't need that shit, don't won't he? He's like, yeah, that's exactly what he's gonna say. It's like, what are you gonna say back? It's like, I'm gonna do it anyways. I got you. Well, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go ahead and send you over an email. You guys follow? Like, that's what's gonna happen. They want to protect, they don't want to be a burden. 65 plus, just in your mind, if they're protecting their kids, they just don't want to be a burden. They want to be remembered the right way. You guys have a great day. See you at the top.